Good morning, everyone. It's your girl, Danielle Spencer. I'm on my way to a legislative conference. I have never been to one of these before, so this will be a first. I'm hopeful to start going more to these because I am looking for a way to um, start enacting some type of legislation um, at either the local or state level to combat digital assassination, cyber terrorism, data theft, and those type of things. So I'm going to my first legislative conference today. But before I left, I want to get back to the topic that I was talking about before about toxic bosses, and especially the nice kind, the ones that aren't kind of rude and loud, ones that you wouldn't expect. So I'm going to start off by first, I'm going to say as preferencing what I'm going to speak about. First of all, this is all my opinion based on my experience. But before I even go into characteristics or anything like that, what I wanted to do kind of address to kind of level set so that people kind of can understand. What I think a lot of people get caught up, and it's understandable to feel this way, is that they're looking for some type of utopia on Earth. They vote for certain people or they support certain causes, thinking that it is going to lead to this like utopia where there are no problems and no issues. And in my opinion, that causes people to be disappointed and then keep searching for this magical person who is just going to make this utopia occur. And even if they vote against their own interest or support people who are not in their best interest, all in hopes of finding this utopia. And I think if more people start to understand that that is not going to happen, I definitely don't believe it. That will never happen on Earth. There will never be a utopia. Why? Because we're dealing with human beings. Um, and when you're dealing with human beings, you're always going to have, from now until the end of time, individuals who are going to do things that they're not supposed to, bad actors. You will always have them. So the point is not to try to create this utopia. It's to put systems in place that when people do things they're not supposed to, that they can be identified and corrected. And as you correct that one method, there'll be someone coming behind them that's going to look and say, okay, I couldn't steal that way, but maybe I can steal this other way. So the cycle is always going to be there. And for some, that might sound depressing, like, oh gosh, so it's never going to end. Well, for those of us, especially people who look like me, if our forefathers thought that way, that, oh, things are never going to change, we would still be enslaved, or we would still have to deal with like Jim Crow laws. What I think, especially, again, my opinion, is that some of us thought the war was won, not just a battle. And we stopped paying attention. We got distracted and just thought that things had arrived, and they haven't. So I think overall, with all ills of society, if more people start thinking that way, that this is not a war that's going to be won. It's just one battle in the war that's going to extend a long time. We'll have better expectations and won't get so disappointed when we encounter people doing things they're not supposed to. So having said that, that also applies with toxic bosses. They're always going to be there. Toxic leadership, toxic bosses. In my opinion, one of the reasons why that is going to be there, in addition to just human nature, that it is profitable and it is good for certain people when you have toxic leadership. People are able to get away with things. They're able to do what they want to do. They're able to kind of lord over people. So when you understand that. There are people in this world who root for toxic leadership, toxic bosses, incompetent people being in positions of authority. You'll start to understand that when you start to fight against those systems that have already been in place, you're going to get a lot of resistance because people being distressed, people being poorly educated, people being not having labor rights, not having privacy rights, not having digital rights. It works in certain individuals' favor. It keeps them rich and it keeps them in power. So I wanted to start this conversation about toxic bosses, kind of level setting to get people to understand just because you might learn and know about what they are and learn how to deal with them, it doesn't mean that the situation is ever going to go away. It just means that you know what to do and you protect your peace and you protect your career. That's what you want to do. You're not trying to stop that from ever happening again, but it's more so that you can protect yourself and be able to, for people in your circle that you know, help them to be able to protect themselves also. So I wanted to just do that, like, quote unquote, quick video so that people could kind of understand that and really level set. Again, I think if more of us started to understand that, we'll stop looking for this utopia that is never going to happen. And then we get disappointed and get discouraged and stop fighting for our rights. Just understand, hey, that's battle. We won that battle. Gear up for the next one. But it's better to win and always stay ready so that you don't regress. So that's the video for this week. I'll be back next week to talk more about some of the specifics about toxic bosses, the nice kind.